guys, welcome back to the Meg and Maddie show. Today is another off day of baseball, but it does not mean that we don't have awesome guests on today.
Yesterday was an off day as well. We recorded a podcast. We went over to Creighton real quick and covered the renaming of the championship center where the basketball team plays, men's basketball team plays. All the athletes at Creighton live there and have study tables there. They renamed it the McDermott Center.
Yeah, Coach Greg McDermott, and it's after Doug as well, and just their entire family. They've done so much for Creighton athletics. Mrs. McDermott, Teresa, Nick, Sydney, they've done so much support-wise. Mrs. McDermott's the one that started the Pink Out Games as a breast cancer survivor. Coach McDermott's heading into his 15th season, and Doug just wrapped up his 10th in the NBA. We're so thankful for them, so happy to have them back all together in Omaha, and we're excited to see them for the championship series.
Yeah, they're pretty deserving of it. Mm-hmm. But today, we have pretty cool guests. We have number 16 on Tennessee, Dalton Bargo. His parents are on. They're from Omaha natives, and we're excited to chit-chat with them and see their son playing on the biggest stage in college baseball.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Meg and Maddie show. We are with Mr. and Mrs. Bargo. They are Heather and Mike, parents of number 16, Dalton Bargo from Tennessee. They are Omaha natives, and we are so happy to have them in-house today.
So, Dalton is from Omaha, which is such a cool storyline considering the biggest stage of college baseball is in Omaha. Talk about what that's like having him here.
It's been great. It's fun to have him home and playing here and get to see him in action in Omaha, and that was his goal, and that's what he's doing, and it's pretty awesome to have him here.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that, yeah, it's one of his dreams was always to play here. Being CWS in our backyard, he started going to the CWS when he was 3-4, probably the first time. Obviously, he doesn't remember until it was a little bit later, but
The first picture I have from CWS, he was 16 months old.
yeah, so 16 months old.
That's
Really,
crazy.
his whole life, he's been coming to the CWS.
So he's pretty excited. It was always a goal of his, and it was part of his decision making when he wanted to go to college too. He wanted to go somewhere, had a chance to come play in Omaha and play on that stage.
We had Christian Moore on, and he was kind of talking about it, and he's asking Dalton, he's like, so those kids that are all yelling for our autographs, like, was that you over there doing that, just running around at the ballpark? So it's fun to see how they all grow up, and awesome that he gets to come back here.
How many family members do y'all have come into these games?
So my mom and dad live here in Omaha now. My sister, her husband, and our niece, and then our other two kids. And then we've had a lot of, family and friends just kind of rotate in. I had my cousin and his family came from Ohio for opening weekend, so that was really fun to have them here.
What's it like being able to sleep in your own bed and not have to pay all the travel fees and the hotel stuff?
It's fabulous.
It's been one of our jokes where everybody's like, oh, how was your guys' drive in? Because all year we were driving 13 hours in. It was always kind of an interesting deal because Dylan Dreiling is from Hayes, and then we would drive from here. So we were, coordinating our drives. Or sometimes would meet up at the gas stations or somewhere along the way because we'd be meeting each other on the highway. So it's kind of interesting, but it's nice to be here and only have to drive 20 minutes.
How many times have you guys been to Knoxville this year?
Well, we were there for Georgia, Mizzou. You were there for LSU.
Mm-hmm. Then Tucker, my oldest son, and I went
Regionals.
in the fall.
You guys went in the fall.
Went to a football
Vandy.
game, and then went to
So,
Tennessee.
Quite a bit.
We were there a lot more in the spring than I thought we would be able to.
Yeah,
with
that's a far
working
drive.
And we have our daughter is 16 and she does cheer, so we've had lots of schedule juggling, but we made it work.
Are you guys driving every time that you're going?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, drive every time.
That's
Those
impressive.
add up.
Dedication.
Those hours add up.
Yeah. A lot of times we leave at like midnight or 3 a.m. and then we pull into town in time to head to the stadium. So
That's awesome. I'm sure he really appreciates that.
So I played softball at Creighton. My little sister still plays. She's in the transfer portal now. Then my older sister played at Clemson, but we all played at the same time. So like the family devotion, like just going to as many things as possible. Like Dalton, if Dalton's anything like me, I know he appreciates it, and it just means so much. So it's so cool that y'all get to make it to that many games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's fun having them here because our daughter, with her doing cheer and still, you know, in high school, a lot of activities, she didn't get to go with us really this spring. So having him here, she gets to go to all the games and see him and be able to spend some time with him. So that's been nice.
What's that atmosphere like in Knoxville? I know you said you got to see a football game, but
It's crazy. I grew up Big 12 country. I actually worked at K-State for a while with their baseball team. I don't know if you guys know that. Dalton started as the bat boy there when he was 5. By far the craziest atmosphere I've been in a college baseball setting so far. I mean, there's some bucket list places I want to go, so I haven't seen all of them yet, but that one it's nuts on a home game when they get going and get loud. It's crazy, but it's fun. It's a fun place.
So we had Alex Hale on earlier in the year, and he told us that Dalton started playing for him at 5.5 for his 8U team.
And that he lied.
Yeah,
about
and that
his
he lied.
age.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into. How did you guys get around that?
So he actually had Dalton at the batting cages. So Dalton was born here. We lived in Kansas for a short period of time. When we came back, Dalton had just recovered from a broken arm. He had played T-ball, coach pitch, and we felt he might be ready to start select. Mike had him at UVA, and somebody walks by, "Oh, we have a team looking for people." Well, Dalton, it was almost his birthday. It was February, and he was very excited for his birthday. Well, I think when he asked him his age, he just said, "I'm 6," because he was turning 6 in like a week and a half.
So,
Well, then Coach Hale says, then his birthday comes around and he goes to tell him happy birthday. And he goes, "How old are you now?" 7? And he's like, 6. And then that's when the moment clicked for him.
yeah,
Yes.
Dalton started, he played T-ball at 3, and he played coach pitch at 4. And we got done with coach pitch, or I guess it had been 4 and 5. When we got done with coach pitch that year, he looked at me and goes, "That's still not real baseball, Dad." So he knew the difference enough to know that was not what he was playing at the time, and he wanted to play where the kids pitched as well. So that was his goal going into the next year.
So T-ball is normally like kindergarten, first grade. So like put that in perspective. You're 5'6" playing T-ball,
Yeah.
and he was 5'6" playing like kid pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Physically, how did he stand? Because like I know development likewise he was fine to be able to play, but was he a lot smaller, or was he ahead in percentile wise?
When he first started, yeah, he was always he was a large baby, so he was always in like the 90th percentile. Really until about maybe 4th, 5th grade, and then we saw it level out where everybody kind of caught up to him. And, and he kind of leveled out, and then for a while he actually became the shorter kid.
Well, when you're playing up and everyone's hitting puberty and you're not.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when he was younger, yeah, he was a little smaller, I'd say, than some of the other guys, but.
Because Coach Hale was comparing him to 3rd graders, and I'm like, working with kids, I know kindergartners and 3rd graders look a little different.
So Dalton started at Mizzou, or his college career at Mizzou, and then transferred. When he was going through that process, what were like your favorite schools that y'all went on your visits with? Or campuses. It doesn't have to be like baseball, but like the campuses y'all saw.
Really, we only did 2 visits at the time. Well, the first stage, we did a little bit more. We went to Little Rock, Arkansas, St. Louis. Yep, St. Louis, and then Southeast Missouri State and Mizzou. So those, I mean, they were all interesting schools. They were just a little bit different. Something we kind of compared, kind of get that ground base for. And the portal-wise, him and I went to Texas together, and then he did Tennessee by himself. And when he was done with Tennessee, he called us on the way back to summer ball at Bristol, and he said, "That's where I want to be." And that was kind of it from there. So we didn't get any other visits, but that was him and I went to Texas. That was pretty cool. That campus is huge, and they love their sports down there for sure.
Sure.
Did he share why he chose Tennessee over Texas? Like, what stood out specifically?
He sat down and had him and Vitello and Coach Elander were sitting in Vitello's office, and he said they were just talking, and next thing you know, they were late for their dinner plans because it was just so easy to sit down and have a baseball conversation and just talk about the sport and about everything going into it. And with that, he said it was the closest thing he'd felt to having that conversation since Alex with Coach Hill. You know, him and they've always had kind of a special relationship. So he said it was as close to that he's had in a long time.
That's
so
awesome.
That's what made his decision for him.
Makes your heart warm. I love them both.
He was going to be cared for. He knew in that moment he was going to be cared for.
You just mentioned Vitello. How has your relationship with him gone? Like, now that you've gotten to know him too, since you were on that visit.
I think we want to talk to him once.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, I've always been under the belief that, you know, that's Dalton's place now. We kind of step back and, I mean, our interactions mostly with the parents and, you know, some of the players and stuff. But as far as the coaches, that's his gig, that's his deal. We're just there to support him and make sure we're there for him whenever, you know, on the bad days and the good days. So, and then they take care of their own from the rest of there.
Yep.
So y'all have been coming to the CWS for a long time, obviously. What's your favorite tradition? Because you've kind of seen like a wide spread of it.
I miss Rosenblatt. I love that, like, we can come down and tailgate, or even just walking through the tailgates, and there's fans of teams playing here. There's LSU fans. And everybody's just baseball fans. And I love that. I love being able to walk through and, you know, you can stop and chat with people. They're going to offer you food. They're going to make sure that you're taken care of, whether you're a part of their team or not. And it's a lot of fun. I love just being able to talk to everybody and find out where they're from and who they're cheering for. And
I like that.
We heard that the head of the tailgates is using your smoker. Can you confirm or deny?
It was confirmed. He got into doing some. They smoke bologna as burnt ends, which is absolutely amazing. But started doing that when Xander kind of got hot, so we got to keep it up. So he came over and got that done on the smoker. So made sure Xander was ready to go on Wednesday. So it seemed to work for us.
I was talking to him. I met him at one of the games, and funny guy.
Him and Kirby.
Loves Tennessee baseball. Mm-hmm. He told me he gets there the day before, or like the night before, sets everything up so when y'all get there, it's done and ready. Mm-hmm. That's commitment. Yeah. And he said it's really good food too.
Always great food. Always great food. They're a great bunch of people. There's a whole group of people who work on the tailgate, contribute to the tailgate, and they're Tennessee fans, and they take very good care of us. They're a great group of people. They've welcomed us into the folds, and Ray is so good on the grill. We're kind of hoping for an early game so we can get breakfast. He makes bacon on his flat top, and it's so good.
Do you know how many like pounds of food, or like how he does that at all? I just like can't wrap my head around how many Tennessee fans I've seen and how many of them he's probably eating or like feeding.
I wouldn't even begin to know how many pounds he goes through.
Is he going to the grocery store when he gets here? Like,
I do know he does that because he asked for some recommendations on where to go. But yeah, they take awesome care of us, and being here in Omaha, we've had a ton of friends that either we've invited to come tailgate, or they'll walk through the parking lot and see us, and they welcome them as well, and he's fed everybody.
I do know at the regionals first day, Nate Snead's family brought down some bratwurst from Milwaukee, and they brought over 60 of them, and there was nothing left by the time we even got there. I think they ended up saying that we had almost 100 people at that tailgate that day. So it's they go through a lot. They do a lot of work to get it done. So
approximately what time will this be held tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we might just come say hi.
I'm not sure what time he's planning on starting.
Because first pitch is like 6:30.
Usually he's in the parking lot around 10 or 11.
All
We'll
right.
just walk past. We'll tell you how the food is.
We usually get there enough to do a little bit of the tailgate and then walk up to do the send off for the boys. And then
Okay.
everybody heads back down to the tailgate after they're done with that.
Gotcha. What are you telling other Tennessee fans, parents, visitors, what to do on these 2 off days? Being from Omaha, where are you telling them to go?
Well, the zoo is my number one because I love our zoo.
We've heard the zoo quite a bit.
Yeah, the zoo, and really just the other thing would be just going downtown and adventuring. Just, you know, you got to go across the Bob and stand in Iowa and Nebraska together, and just enjoy the old market and have,
Good food.
you know, good
Yep.
food, good drinks, even just wandering around. You know, we like to wander down to the candy shop and
Yeah.
record stores and stuff like that. So it's just a nice little adventure.
Yeah, Old Market has a lot of good spots. That's a good place to send them.
I'm glad you mentioned the bobbing because no one knows that. So I'm not from Nebraska, nothing. I went on the bridge and I saw it and read it. And then I asked people if they bob, like if that's like something you actually do. And they had no idea what I was talking about. So that made me feel so seen.
Yeah. And they're working on the baby bob, so that'll be fun to
The
have
baby
that,
bob.
to have that built
first
too.
time
It'll
hearing
be
of
a
it.
smaller version of the bridge that'll go over here from the parking lot at the CHI.
That's really cool. I haven't heard of that.
I haven't either.
They've started construction on it right there. That's why it's all tore up
Gotcha.
on that end of the
Okay,
of
that
the
makes
building.
sense. Well,
And then tell them to go to the Rosenblatt.
yeah,
What's left over there, just kind of see the
the history.
little bit of the history and know what had happened there. I mean, baseball
You have
fans
to
all
get
want
a
to see that.
Zestos.
Yeah, for sure. The key is to go late at night because people are already like in a bar or like going home, so that the line's not nearly as long
Yeah.
at night.
Do you want to say anything to Dalton before his championship series? Anything special? Hit the ball.
We have this thing I've told him since I can't remember if it was 10 or 12s, but I always tell him before every game, hey kid, don't suck. I'm that mom, but it's our thing, so I tell him every time before the game.
That's awesome.
Give him a hug, tell him I love him, and wait for him to walk away. Oh yeah, hey kid, don't suck.
Aww. Well, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Bargo. We're so happy to have you guys here. Good luck this weekend. We hope things go in our favor.
We'll see you at the tailgate.
Yeah.
Come on over. Come on over. We'd love to have you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Bargo family. Heather and Mike, the sweetest.
So nice. I loved hearing about Tennessee culture. That was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Tomorrow is the first game of the College World Series Championship Final. It's kind of a
Yep.
mouthful.
SEC matchup, the classic. We all knew an SEC person was probably going to win again. They've won the past 6 of 7. The other only one being Oregon State, because they're both SEC teams. Another one's going to win.
And this is both A&M and Tennessee's first final. Mm-hmm. They've come here before, but never clinched it to
It's going to be gritty.
go. Yeah,
They're all going to go out there and just do everything that they can.
hit ball hard.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, adios.